ladies and gentlemen, the Firebirds. Here you're going to see some really elegant and professional pairs formation work. These two guys virtually joined at the hip in their knowledge and experience and also professional aviation expertise. Flying two really brilliant aircrafts called Van's RV4s, and they are a really outstanding machine, good for touring but equally good for aerobatic display work as well. No lights today, still there of course. Last night we had the most beautiful evening with these neon lights flashing on the side and then fireworks. They're going through the same performance. You'll be able to see the actual flying professionalism and the beautiful shapes in the sky a lot better today. And with the sun behind us just picking them out brilliantly well. One of the most successful range of home-built aircraft ever in the world by a very, very long margin. Well over 10,000 of these aircraft flying, and in many, many different variants as well. You can build this in your backyard pretty much and tailor it to suit your own flying ambitions. Nigel and John Doll actually acquired these from the previous owners, Andy Durston and John Gowdy, otherwise known as the Fireflies, who got this genre working. Both of them still in flying displays, but mainly now in the warbird community. What is wonderful about this is just the sheer precision. It's I always think it's a real pleasure both to fly and to watch pairs formation display work, and the synchronicity is just delightful. Made more so by the beautiful day we have here. Once again, the smoke, all environmentally friendly stuff, just a form of baby oil. And not just for your aesthetic design, but also for safety. When the aircraft's split apart, it's a great way of just reconnecting and also deconflicting your flight paths as well. Leading the team, Nigel's been involved in aviation since he was a very young lad indeed, and started flying in his parents' Gypsy Moth way back, and then got involved flying or getting involved in flying in various other vintage aircraft like Meteors and Canberras, and he basically just got with that. I'll just need a short runway to get airborne, but can cruise at 160 miles an hour with a bit of spare room for some luggage as well. What makes them so special is that they're capable of pulling +6 or -3 Gs, so 6 times your body weight, and therefore giving them the flexibility as both a tourer and a display aircraft. This aircraft modified, but primarily for their night pyrotechnic shows, but not fitted with inverted fuel systems. So they're going to keep the positive G loading on as much, leaping into the cockpit again, and flown a massive range of different aircraft. In fact, between the two of them, literally thousands and thousands of hours, and an awful lot, a massively wide range of different genres of aircraft as well. Take a moment out to just connect you with the synchronicity of these two guys, and as the Nigel calls the shot, exactly the same motion, same distance, whilst remaining in close formation. As they do that, the G comes slowly on. And the cadence in the movement is right on the final end of the final syllable, and so that they both get the input on the controls at exactly the same moment. It's a beautiful craft, it's very precise, very detailed, and I can assure you it takes an awful lot of practice as well. You may have just picked up the recording visual there. That's where the smoke helps pick them up as well. Of course, these light aircraft can be tricky to see. Over the top there, they're hanging in their straps. They look back over their shoulders though as they complete. And that beautiful shape. Going through the heart to exit on either side. Getting used to the space, not too much of a drift, so they don't have to correct too adversely, but again, they do need to have visual sighting and references and tally as we put it on each other. Really lovely. Putting in a quarter turn there, we know it's a quarter clover in the business, gracefully putting underneath. It in a vertical posture, so it's going straight until all the speed leaves off, then putting a big boot full of rudder at the same time, and you get a wonderfully pitched, symmetrical dual stall turn. Coming in now for another one of those little quarter clovers, so pull up, and at the top they're just putting a little 90-degree twist. Here we go. And there's the little turn going in as they get up towards the top. This time coming back for a pair of synchronistic loops. Again, very steadily pulling in that G. Going on now as they go through the top, pulling back, pulling over the top, checking behind them for the wings level, and gradually easing back through the G, come living in. Putting this time up for a half Cuban, they pull up as if they're going into a loop, and then just as they go over the top, put through a 180-degree movement on the stick, and here they go, rolling to their sides and coming out back in level formation.
Commitment, sorry.
So very sadly, I think they may be calling that their last pass. The Firebird's heart, an opportunity to smile, grab your partner, give them a wish, whatever, give them a hug, and this beautiful day that you've been having out here at the English Riviera. Hear the throb of the mighty engine. It comes in a curving turn from the left-hand side. That's fantastic, making an immediate presence with that Pratt & Whitney R1340 Wasp radial engine with 600 horsepower. Marvellous machine. Sometimes known as the North American Texan, but harboured across here in the UK in World War II advanced fighter training. Pilots would fly this aircraft prior to converting onto combat types such as the Spitfire and the P-51 Mustang. Able to be fitted with three 7.62 machine guns. It could cruise up to 170 miles an hour and a range of about 750 miles, so a ceiling just in excess of 20,000 feet. You can see it looks and feels a very strong and robust aircraft, ideal for the training world, but also able to be used in conflict environments as well. Over 17,000 of these types, either as Harvards built for the British and Commonwealth Air Forces, or with a deck hook for the US Navy, or the T-6 as it was known, the Texans, for the US Army. This Harvard is the US version of the entire family, dating back to the late 1930s. Favourite with many pilots, a considerable number of aircraft still flying, both here and across in the USA, displaying solo or with formation teams worldwide. In the hands of Chris Gonka today, extremely well-known display pilot, also accomplished Royal Navy pilot, fast jet, and also a test pilot as part of the World Cup team for the F-35. Leading member of the Royal Navy Historic Flight before its conversion to a charitable trust. And a really experienced guy, having flown in their collection both the Sea Hawk and the Sea Fury, alongside many other aircraft types. Thousands of hours to his name. A really complete and competent display pilot as well. Very much this aircraft recognised as the standard stepping stone trainer for all larger engine warbirds. Provides the prospective warbird pilot with a little heavier piston handling experience and invaluable as a training and assessment aircraft. Pilot, very much an acquired taste, having a little wheel at the back, the tail wheel, but also having a big powerful piston engine in the front, requiring a lot of management. Hence, used an invaluable member of the inventory in a fleet that has things like the Swordfish and the Sea Fury. Generally speaking, keeping it to looping and rolling manoeuvres, as even with 600 horsepower, it still lacks the power of what would have been a frontline fighter in the class of the Mustangs and the Spitfires. So you've got to maintain the energy of the aircraft to enable it to get through all the maneuvers successfully. Occasionally get a bit of a mini sonic boom from the propeller blades as they go supersonic. Yeah, it's got a tremendous sound, hasn't it? It's got a real presence. Big, chunky machine, definitely in your face. Wonderful stuff. Can be a bit twitchy on the runways with a reputation for ground looping, and teaches the pilots the slightest movement in heading and corrected immediately before becoming a problem. Supercharged with a constant speed prompt, retractable undercarriage. the other characteristics, all helpful, broadening a pilot's experience beyond an initial training aircraft, such as something like the Chipmunk, for example. The training's often conducted from the rear seat of these as well, to give a perspective much closer to flying bigger, more powerful warbirds.
Yeah, I guess so. What time do you want to pass by?
Just before 4:30, just after 5.
Yeah, fine, I'll keep an eye on that.
Oh,
bless you.
Navy Wings charity, of course, requires everybody's help, entirely funded now by public funds, so if you have any connection, then do search them out on the website, or go and chat to the Wildcats team across the green. Making his last pass now from, I think I just picked up on the radio there. Really a delightful afternoon for displaying aircraft and wonderful setting. There's Chris Gotka in the Navy Wings Harvard. Give him a big wave. There he goes, he's giving you a wave as well. Well done, superb bit of flying once again from Chris.
So what are the stars?
So here they come in, off the high on the left-hand side. Please welcome the Starlings Dynamic 2 aircraft aerobatic display team, formed back in 2021, performing what I think you'll see will be a high-octane close formation aerobatics, rolls, loops, torque rolls, gyroscopic tumbles, formed here by two highly decorated former British aerobatic champions. Joy it is to see these two aircraft and their pilots here. Tom Cassell's a seasoned veteran with over 30 years of experience, a display authorization evaluator and a 4-time national champion at the unlimited level. Stuck right on his wing, Michael Picking, a second-generation aviator, the youngest person to ever held a display authorization, the youngest ever British advanced level national aerobatic champion. I've no doubt agreeing what an elegant formation display this is. Smooth transitions, refined manoeuvres and absolute visual symmetry. Real emphasis on precision in this display. And I apologise for interrupting this, but with Mark and Chloe Sayers. Mark and Chloe Sayers, please go to the information terms. Mark and Chloe Sayers, thank you. Another great example of a stall turn there. Once again, precise. You begin to learn a lot about aerobatic performance now. And what a fantastic break. Keeping that manoeuvre in synchronicity. Tom still calling the shots. Holding it out there, waiting for the speed to come off, and then kicking that big rudder. Notice the rate of turn is quite exceptional as well on these aircraft. Well in excess of 400 degrees a second. Really, really outstanding. Very shortly they'll break apart and give an opportunity for each to show their own skill set. Keep your eyes peeled now, photographers at the ready. Again, remember what's going on in the cockpit there, putting an awful lot of G whilst you're rolling, letting the speed bleeding off, allowing it to tumble over the top.
Max, typhoon temps.
So there's Tom having given you his taste of individualism. Michael now diving in right in front of us, putting in a few rolls there at high speed, hesitating the roll as he comes in, then speeding it up, using all that energy now which he'll convert into a powerful upward trajectory. First one way, then the other, putting over the top, hammerhead style. Bring down great speed now, once again, putting in the rolls, converting that height into more energy. snapping the G on. There's a lot to cope with when you go from 0 to suddenly you're pulling 5, 6 G. And you're spinning the world around you as if you're in a tumble drum. Absolute superb demonstration of high performance, high power, precision aerobatic flying. Michael was just 23 when he became the youngest ever British advanced national aerobatic champion. Performed all over the world as a solo and formation display pilot, passionate about his involvement. One of the younger people to have got to fly Spitfires as well. He's flown over 50 different types of aircraft, all the way from gliders to airliners. And that's it. Michael comes in, he remains inverted, hanging in his struts. Michael comes in to join him from below. And then rolling around the spectrum. Not pushing away there, a bit of negative G, just increasing as he does that. As well, this aircraft will not only display and hit you right in the face, but also with an amazingly small area. Hold on to your hats now, as Tom brings it in at 100 feet at 600 miles an hour. The EJ200's in fully lit up afterburner. Seconds. Coming back down now at about 500 feet, keeping the coming in now, straight towards you, putting up into giving you a good sight of the underbelly of the aircraft there and the 13 points which carry that massive weapons there. Ability to show off the real agility of this amazing machine.
So, my batteries ran out of the camera. Did you get any sunflowers? I got sunflowers. How good they are.
We're back in now for the manoeuvre that Thompson declares as the Rubin manoeuvre. Michael rolls the jet through 450 degrees.
Battery ready.
Keep your eyes here. Here we go with the outside turn. We're rolling the jets initially through 300, pushing minus 3 meters, then bursting through that. Really staying away from himself. Very
I got some, but I don't know if they're any good.
Still at a young age as well. Not to study on space engineering. Putting up into a massive big looping maneuver. Back up to 600 miles an hour, around about 500 feet. All the time enduring 9G there, feeling his weight as much as a Formula One car. Around the course of this circuit, that of course is where you faint. As if you were going away from very famous manoeuvre that is in fighting the terminology. Manoeuvre now, slowing the jet down, pulling the stick back. This is an extraordinarily versatile aircraft now, all the way back to around 120, 130 knots. A very high alpha position, as we call it, just before the air breaks away from the surface of the upper wing. But this is full of really clever computers. Little on-board voice there, barking Betty, just making sure that it never ever loses control. Almost impossible to do so. Such is the cleverness of the digital software inside this airframe. Careful balancing there, all the way down the fly line between the thrust of the engines. A really, really superb manoeuvre. Very shortly he'll slap the throttles forward again to the max and developing that phenomenal power once again. spreading the display out, but still extraordinary just how much you can fit into a very small machine. Using that height as well now, coming back down to 100 feet and accelerating to the airshow limits of about 60 low now, circling round at about 300 feet, about 500 miles an hour. He'll come towards you and then depart in the most fantastic manner. On the way up, and his departure, 3 vertical rolls to come in, and it'll be up to 10,000 feet in just a few seconds. That is Tom Nation. What an outstanding performance that was, and I'll pass your grateful thanks and appreciation to Tom when I next see him. Oh wow, how to end an air display, eh? What a fantastic thing to do. Well, these boys know what it's like to be at the sharp end. You've seen